Has anybody tried the new Smart Water flavor, the Smart Water Black? This one here is charcoal and dandelion extract. I know, kind of confusing. I'm trying it, and it's not horrible. Anyways, hi guys, Top Hops here, and today we're going to be taking another look at the Funko Fair, and today it's all about animation. So let's get started. Now, from what actually came out of today's reveals, I think this right here is some of the best stuff that they've announced so far, and I think that because it's not so much people pops, and I always talk about this, where I think the animated characters and the animals and different monsters look a lot nicer than they do compared to a lot of different people. Like, these ones here are animated, so they look a little bit better, but people like, what's a good example? Like Jan Levinson from The Office. It looks like Jan, but it's not a very interesting pop. It's funny if you know the show, but these ones here really do look great. So let's get into them, starting with the first one here, which is Godzilla vs. Kong. Now, this one here technically isn't part of the animation stuff, but they did reveal it today, and there is some really amazing figures inside of here, which is pretty much just a bunch of different versions of Godzilla and King Kong. And you can actually pre-order most of these on all of the major websites like Hot Topic, Entertainment Earth, Books A Million, stuff like that. And in this one here, we have the 5 normal characters. Then on the second slide there, we have the 10-inch versions of both the Godzilla and King Kong, as well as the Pocket Pops there. And then on the third slide, we have both exclusives, which is the 2-pack exclusive to BAM, and then the FYE glow-in-the-dark Godzilla. And if anybody is wondering, the BAM exclusive one is literally just a 2-pack of both characters put together with the exact same sculpt. So if you want to kind of make a nicer set, or if you want to just get both of them, I think the 2-pack is a great way to go. Plus, I also checked, the 2-pack is $26 shipped anywhere in the US, so it is a pretty good deal for 2 pops. Oh, and I actually almost missed the last 2 exclusives here, which is the blue Godzilla and then the purple King Kong. And I'm guessing this is to go with the lights in the city, because I don't know why they're doing a purple King Kong. I guess we'll find out for the film, but I do know that the Godzilla does turn kind of a blue color. And then guys, next up here we have some pop pins from Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I think these here actually look pretty great. The only thing that I think is a little funny is that Appa's eyes are a little too small, but other than that, all of these really do look great, and I am excited to see what they look like in person instead of just a 2D image. And also, I really do enjoy the Aang chase. I think that does look great, and if I can find one of those, I will probably be picking one up for Noah, because I know he really does like Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I'm also hoping that the Appa pop pin is kind of fluffy as well, because they did that with Cookie Monster, where they gave it a bit of fuzz to make him feel like he's actually kind of furry. So if they do that with the Appa one, that'd be a cool touch. And now for this one here, we're not going to go too in-depth, just because they already have shown these ones off, and for some reason, they're showing them off again for Funko Fair. Maybe it's because the movie was delayed, so they're just going to be showing it off again to let you guys know that maybe they'll be doing another wave of them, or maybe they're just re-releasing them so that way people can purchase them before the movie comes out. But this one right here is the Minions: The Rise of Gru, and actually, we've done a hunt for this already. If you guys want to check it out on the channel, I think it's just called Minions Funko Pop hunting. They're literally, I know you guys can't see them, but they're right here at the top of my shelf right there. I have every single one of these. Actually, I might be missing like the glow-in-the-dark one and the 10-inch, but for the most part, we've seen all of these. And now guys, next up here we have a figure that I've been wanting for a long time, and I'm pretty sure I actually mentioned this in a video a while ago talking about Funko Pops that I want to see in the future, and this one right here is Clifford the Big Red Dog. Now there is going to be 2 different versions of this one coming out. There's going to be the Clifford, which is not flocked, that comes with Emily Elizabeth, and then there's also the flocked version going to Hot Topic, and I see what they did there. They made it so the flocked one didn't come with Emily, but then the normal one did, so I'm going to want to buy both. And also, I was thinking about maybe buying both and then swapping the inserts on them, so that way the flocked one could have the sticker on the front, but also have Emily Elizabeth in the front. That could be kind of neat. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, but if you wanted to have both of them together, that is a great way to do it. And also, if anybody's wondering, this is the newer version of Clifford and not the early 2000s, like late 90s Clifford, and I totally understand why they did that, because they're going to make the figure for the newest version of Clifford. It's just too bad, because when I watched, I remember the other version of him. Kind of want to look this up now, just for fun. Clifford new. What does he actually look like now? Oh, it's not that different. I mean, if they were to make a pop of him, it would probably look very similar to this. I mean, he's got a bit of a square snout, but other than that, it's pretty much the same. Alright guys, now next up here, we have the release that I was the most excited for, that I knew that was going to be coming because of the kind of sneak peek they showed off at the beginning of this Funko Fair. And this one right here is Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and they are coming out with 3 different characters so far, which is Eduardo, Blue, and Mac. And I did say this in the comments on their Instagram photo, but I think these look perfect. I think they couldn't have done any better, especially transforming these into the Funko form with the bigger black eyes. They look exactly how I was expecting, because really, actually, the cartoon versions of them have bigger heads anyways, and the only one they didn't make bigger was Blue, and I'm glad they didn't, because that would have looked pretty weird. And also, if you guys didn't notice, there are two different versions of Eduardo. One of them is just the normal version of him, and then the other one, the Hot Topic exclusive, is Flocked. And because there are only 3 of them, I hope that they make more characters in the future, because I will definitely be buying every single one of these. Oh, and also, Funko, if you are going to make a wave too, I would love a Wilt Funko Bob. Thanks. And now this next reveal they did is something that I know Ride the Pop guy is really excited about. Actually, this one and then the next reveal as well, he was pretty hyped about both of them. And this one here is the Rick and Morty line. And it looks like they're basing this one off of that episode where there's a wizard and then the dragon, and then it gets a little weird towards the end, but it is some really nice pops, and I love the dragon one. I just forget his name. And to be honest, I can't remember what any of these are actually called, and I also don't know where the Morty with the Rick mini or doll or figure actually comes into play. I do know that when he wears that funnel thing, it's when he's with all those robots, and that QR code on the top, I'm sure you're going to be able to scan like you could actually scan on the actual one that you could purchase, because you could purchase a funnel like that, and then also, you might have been able to scan the one in the show. I tried to scan this one, it's actually too small, so when this figure actually does come out, I'm definitely going to be buying a bunch of these, and we will be scanning that QR code to see where it takes us. And for the most part, they did make a bunch more Ricks and Mortys, and I totally think that's justifiable because there are so many different versions of them, and they're kind of like the main characters in the show. They do the most stuff, so it totally makes sense why they're going to be making a bunch more versions of them, but I am glad that they made a dragon as well as another summer. And then the other set of figures that I thought that Ride the Pop guy was going to be really excited about, and he told me about it as soon as they were announced. It is the Solar Opposites, also made by Justin Roiland, who does make Rick and Morty, and these ones right here don't really look like Pops. I think it's because if they didn't have those eyes, they wouldn't look like them at all. I feel like the eyes really do make the characters look like the ones from Solar Opposites instead of the ones from Rick and Morty. So these here are a little bit odd. I'm going to check them out when they do come out in person, but for now, we're just getting these things that kind of look like Pops, but also kind of look like figures, but I do think it was necessary to give them those eyes, because otherwise they would have looked weird. And well, I guess the only thing that they really did make kind of pop-ish is the huge heads, because their heads are not this big in the show, that's for sure. They're way bigger than normal size heads, so I guess that is what kind of keeps them in the pop realm, is having these smaller bodies and huge heads, but I feel like those eyes also really help to make them look like Pops, and there are other figures that don't have those pop eyes. I don't see any at the moment. I definitely have some. I just don't know where they are. I was really hoping I would have an example ready for you guys. Oh, well, Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of them. For the most part, Spider-Man doesn't have those eyes. So this right here, I guess is kind of like that? Sure, somewhat similar. And now after Solar Opposites, we got one that I had actually never heard of before, but apparently this one here is in the Rocky and Bullwinkle kind of universe, or maybe it's created by the same people that make Rocky and Bullwinkle. And this one here is Super Chicken. Yeah. I don't know much about it. It looks like a cool pop. Maybe I'll have to watch some of the show and see what it's about, but for now, that's all we've got. Super Chicken. To be honest, it kind of looks like a cooler version of Chicken Little, and I'm not opposed to it. Now guys, next up here we have something that I don't know too much about, but I have actually been in the store inside of New York Times Square, and this one right here is Line Friends. Now I do know Line because they are actually the way you can friend people on Disney's Tsum Tsum, and my dad plays that a lot. He actually has, I think, every single character. I've talked about this before, but I know that Line has their own characters that go along with it, and I don't know if there's a game for them or if it's just kind of like a fun character that they have, and they seem really popular, I believe, in Asian countries, most likely Japan, if I were to guess, but these do look really great. They are very cute, and they do translate into pop form pretty well, because if you see the real characters versus these ones, they have big heads and pretty much circular black eyes anyways, so they're pretty perfect. And I'm noticing here that there aren't just 4 different characters. There are at least 10 that I can see here, so I hope that they do make more of them in the future, because I'm sure these are going to do really well, because I know a lot of people really do talk about these. I mean, there's a whole store in New York, for crying out loud. I just don't know much about them. And there's also, in case you guys are wondering, a flocked version of the bear. I don't know his name, but he's got a flocked version. And then guys, the last thing that we have for today is Dilbert. Now this one actually looks really great, and I was gonna say that it doesn't have pop eyes, but they did make the glasses probably a little bit bigger than they would normally be. Actually, does Dilbert have circular eyes? But also, I really do enjoy that he has his coffee mug, and then he also has the tie kind of flipped up like that. I mean, Dilbert, let me see here just for fun. Does he have circular eyes? I mean, he does a little bit. They're a little more oval than the ones that Funko made, so I guess they did kind of popify them and make them a bit more circular, so that is cool. And also his head is a lot bigger than it is in the comic strip, but this one is pretty cool. And also his tie is up for the most part in all of the photos that I can see here. So I think Funko did a pretty great job recreating him in pop form. And well, anyways, guys, that was the animation day. And let me know in the comment section below, what was your favorite one that I showed off today? Because honestly, I think, this is tough. It's a toss-up between, now here's the thing, I'm not going to count the Godzilla vs. King Kong ones as part of the animation line because they are technically movies. So I think my favorite ones out of today were either Clifford or Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, just because those two are ones that I've been wanting for a long time. But before we get out of here, let's spin the wheel. All right, guys, so I got the wheel, so let's spin this thing and see what we get today. Here we go. Ad icons! Nice! Cool, let me get one. Alright guys, so I went with an ad icon that I don't show off very often, and this one here is the Funko Shop exclusive Quisp. Now this one didn't come alone. You could also get this one with Quake, and I'm actually thinking, I think you had to buy both of them as a bundle, but they are in separate boxes, which is nice if you want to display them separately, or maybe if you wanted to sell one after if you only wanted one of them. And you guys can see there is Quake on the back of the box right there. And this one came out back in 2019, so now 2 years ago. But I also want to pop this one out of the box so I can show you something kind of interesting with this figure right here. So before I even show you it, one thing that I do find really interesting is that his belt buckle is a Q to go with Quisp. But if you guys see the propeller on the top there, it spins. And I think that is one of the coolest things that Funko could have added to this character, because if you've ever seen the commercials, he actually flies with this propeller right here. Can Quisp fly?
I'm Quisp, the Quisp new cereal from outer space.
He can. So Quisp does use his propeller to fly in the commercials. I'm glad I checked that. Well, anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys want to see more from me in the future, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all that. But this has been another episode of Top Pops. Popsters, thanks for watching. See you guys tomorrow.
Dripping like a school. Gonna forward school. Baby gonna screw. She funny with it. Cool. 3-5-4 thump. I'm a hump on a bounce. Jack and Jill up a hill. Baby tryna get a meal. Mary had a little lamb. I really do not fuck with, and she calling me the muffin man. I surely like the muffin top. Snow. Like my lashes.